The famine in Somalia is continuing to worsen, with UNICEF declaring 3 new affected areas. The areas include parts of the Middle Shabelle region, parts of the capital Mogadishu and the Afgoy corridor settlements, which are home to roughly 400,000 displaced people. Norman Gillespie is the Chief Executive of UNICEF Australia and he joins us now from Sydney. Norman, good morning. There's been international attention on this desperate situation for some time now. How is it that things have been allowed to get even worse?
This is an intense, slow-burning humanitarian crisis. This is the way famines unfold. There's a great deal of movement, there's a great deal of overflowing in camps. And what we're seeing now is the second phase, as we worry about disease starting to break out in these camps. This situation, of course, is not new. It's been going on for months. What we're just now seeing is the migration of these people and the terrible plight that they're in.
Tell us about that plight, Norman, because hunger is obviously a huge issue, but there are other things affecting people and claiming people's lives, including illness and disease.
That's what we really worry about now. What we're really trying to do is concentrate our efforts on getting food supplies to people in the actual home areas and villages to stop this stem this migration that's happening, because the journey itself is hazardous. Many families start out with children of 4 or 5, and by the time they get to the camps, they maybe only have 1 child left. So we're desperately trying to open more therapeutic feeding centres and to get to the people where they need it. Some good news: last week we had 11 flights get into Mogadishu, so supplies are getting through. It's just the scale of the disaster is now increasing, and as you say, Middle Shabelle has now declared 3 new areas to be officially declared famine.
I've just seen on the wires recently that Hillary Clinton has made a call to Al-Shabaab to allow unfettered access to the region, and there's also a delegation, a high-level delegation from the US, including the Vice President's wife, Jill Biden, going to Kenya to have a look at the situation. Is this kind of action enough?
No action is enough at this time. There are many diversions, and of course the global financial crisis, that's a massive diversion for governments and for the public. But we really do have to focus on this. This, if it's not contained now, will become a huge humanitarian disaster stretching into Ethiopia and to Kenya. So yes, we are working to get more access. Some agencies are not permitted to be in the country in Somalia. UNICEF's been there since 1971. We're working with 70 local agencies to desperately get more airstrips open and access so that we have complete coverage. Blanket feeding, in fact, is what we're trying to do to try to stem this. But the important thing is to also get some immunisation going. We do fear that when the rains come in October, if you go back to 91, 92, when the early rains come, that is when we fear these diseases such as measles, pneumonia and diarrhoea breaking out in areas where there's a great concentration of people.
And of course you're worried about everyone affected by this situation, but particularly children. Can you tell us about that?
They are the most vulnerable, of course, in this situation. They have no immunity to the kinds of things that happen when your system is completely weakened. They can't respond to normal food. It has to be therapeutic food. It has to be monitored literally on the hour for days. The good news is only the very extreme cases cannot be brought back. However, it's getting that therapeutic food to where it's needed as quickly as possible, because you're right, once those children reach a certain point, then when disease breaks out, they just have no protection against it. That is our main worry. The mortality rate, I think, that we'll see coming out in September and October will be truly shocking unless we can scale up the relief.
Let's hope that that does happen before those crucial months of September, October. Norman Gillespie, CEO of UNICEF Australia, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And just a reminder for those wanting to donate to UNICEF's East Africa appeal, just log on to the address you see on the screen, www.unicef.org.au.